Moneyality, moneyality, with the Moneyalogist, Miss Tanya Collins.
2, 1, 0.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be able to come to you a week before the holiday of Thanksgiving. I am so excited because I will say that is my favorite holiday. I just call it my family day. So tonight, we're going to be talking about amazing topics about family and around the holidays and talking about money. Last episode that I did, I want you, if you haven't seen it, to go on YouTube and check it out at the Miss Moneyalogist, because it talked about stages and steps and strategies you should use to be able to do your shopping as each one of the moneyality types. So I want you to consider that the holidays are coming. We're already seeing first Black Friday specials going, and I talked a little about that last week. So this week we're going to have just a whole different idea about how our families talk about money, or if they don't talk about money around the holidays. And that's going to be our topic, and I'm going to talk more about that. But at the beginning, I always want to tell you about my previous week or what's going on with me. And so last time I talked to you, I want you to know that Moneyality with Tanya Collins has really shown me how much growth that I've had in understanding my moneyality types. My moneyality types are: I am a keeper, which means I'm a fanatic saver, and I'm also an adventurer, which is someone who's a risk taker. So I have some great stories to kind of share with you about some changes and some new improvements that I have done with my moneyality types. There are 5 moneyality types. There is number 1 is the keeper, which is the extreme saver, which is me. Then there's a splurger, which is a person that loves to circulate their money. They are interested in that instant gratification, and the splurgers normally get a bad rep, but I have talked about all the different strategies I can use to help someone that considers themselves a splurger. So you know what? You're not the worst on the list. It's just finding the right balance to be able to understand how you feel and think about money in your purchases. And then there is the adventurer, which I just mentioned. That's part of me, a risk taker. An adventurer is someone that will try new things. They are somewhat of gamblers. They are visionaries. They are people that have indifference sometimes with money, but they are also easily to be relaxed, I guess, about money. Sometimes they may think, wow, I forget that they need to pay a bill. But an adventurer is a fun person to be around, because if you like something new, trying new things, they are the friends to have. And then there is the tracker. And the tracker is someone who loves to plan. But trackers are also people who can be anxious about money, and they are very concerned about working out their future plans with plan A. They may have a plan B, and I always talk about, when that plan A go in disarray, a tracker can be kind of thrown off, because they really put a lot of planning into their strategies to make sure that they're on the right track. And then there is the mingler. And everybody could say, wow, a mingler is a person who loves relationships and building relationships. They are the people who do not care about money at all. They actually think that money is not even really necessary. Their focus is on building relationships, helping people with their nonprofits, or doing missionary work, and just really giving to the world, improving the society. but it also takes money to do that. So I give you strategies as a mingler on how not to feel that, money is not important. It's important because it's a tool that we use in exchange for lots of things. So money and minglers, they are kind of a battle between each other, but at the end of the day, I want to provide strategies to help minglers realize that it is some necessities that we have to have money to make purchases. So with that being said, that's always my intro to let you know Moneyality has 5 Moneyality types. I am a keeper, die-hard keeper, and an adventurer. But since I've been doing the podcast, I've been so excited to share how all the other 3 Moneyality types are coming up out of me, like how I'm able to pull from them to make different choices in dealing with how I choose and spend my circulate my cash. So remember, with Moneyality, we do not spend money, we circulate it, because we are very conscious that we want to have our money flow out, and therefore if something flows back into us. And as I was writing one of my lessons this week, and I was explaining it for children, I talked about the boomerang effect. And a boomerang has 2 things. There is a non-returning boomerang, and then there is a returning boomerang. And a boomerang is an object that has been used years and years ago as a tool to hunt, or to, I know hunting was big, I'm kind of drawing a blank, but for hunting and tracking things. And so the non-returning ones were more, they were shaped differently. They because they didn't have the dynamics to be able to be like an L shape. And then you have the returning boomerang, which is the one that I want to compare Moneyality to, is the reason that we circulate, because we have that returning boomerang that as you throw it out, because of the shape of it, it returns back to the thrower. And that's what I say, that we circulate our money so it can return back to us free flowing. And I always want you to know, I'm not saying when every purchase you make, when you get home, your money is going to be back in your account. Of course, it's just the energy of being able to allow your money to flow out, not to have your hands so closed fist that you will not be able to receive anything if your hands are so tightly closed. So open them up, be free spirited in having access to circulate your money, but with important things and prioritizing. So with that said, Moneyality has been with me for a while, like the last 7 to 8 years. I've just kind of really deep dived into understanding the psychology of how your money personalities work and how it's really a part of our financial DNA. Everybody has a Moneyality type, and they are born with a personality that predicts basically how you're going to choose to feel and think about your money. And that does have some interesting things. It does pose interesting questions, like, does your environment play a part? Of course, you could have your environment or your family and things like that to have some impact on how you feel and think about money. But the core of who you are, if you really think back to when you were a child, you can gauge, like, you didn't always like the choices people made with you as children when they gave you money, or they said you can't have this, or do you want something from a store and they allow you to get it, or tell you no, you can't get anything. I mean, those things have some small impact. But as a child, if you really reflect back and think about what was your first experience with money, then you'll understand that it's something that has been embedded in you. If you've tracked it all along to your to your adulthood, you can kind of go back and see like, wow, I was always this way with my money. So that's what I love about Moneyality, is being able to share those experiences with you, being able to talk about them so that you have a better understanding of why you feel and think the way you do about money. So Moneyality is definitely one of my all-time favorite topics. And then I also created Some Kind of Way Solutions, which is my nonprofit. And that is a big sponsor for Moneyality. I created Some Kind of Way Solutions to be able to express with children about Moneyality, but also Some Kind of Way Solutions is not only financial focus, it's culturally connections and life lessons, because I don't want you to just be thinking about, oh, my child is going to learn about Moneyality and they'll be able to use the US dollar. Yes, that's a plus. But because of my journeys of being able to travel all over the world and living abroad in several different countries, I have come to the realization that I want children to understand currencies of the world, like where I want to be able to take them to countries. And that's what Some Kind of Way Solutions will do, is to provide me that outlet to be able to bring children into the fold and say, hey, with your parents' permission, with some of your parents going, we're going to go to Namibia, which is the first country I ever lived in, and deal with the rand. That's the name of their currency. And they have the Namibian dollar, but they also have the rand, which is the South African currency, and be able to do the comparison and the currency conversions. So Some Kind of Way Solution brings on financial focus, culturally connections, and it's also life lessons, because the foundation of understanding how we move about this world is normally dictated about how you perceive and feel about your career, your family, and all those things. But the bottom line is, you don't want to stress about money. You want to be able to have the leisure of understanding and appreciating your family, your jobs. But sometimes those can be burdens because we're stressed about the financial piece of it. And that's why I want to instill the life lessons of understanding money through Some Kind of Way Solutions. So that's my biggest sponsor of Moneyality, is that nonprofit of Some Kind of Way Solutions. So as you start to understand and listen to all the podcasts that I have done in the past, you're going to see the trend of me knowing that Moneyality is part of our mindsets, and it's going to determine if we can make ourselves into millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires, or if you just want to be a mingler and just have a life of being able to be consistent with the basics, I will say, are just having everybody does not want to be a millionaire, right? So a mingler wouldn't want to be a millionaire. So if they're great with being in a position where they are comfortable, I'm okay with that. And I want them to be okay with that. So no pressure, minglers, on that. And with that being said, I now want to talk about our topic for tonight. Our topic is going to be Don't Talk Turkey, Diffuse, Taboo, Holiday Money Talks. Can I say that again? We're going to not talk turkey because we got Thanksgiving coming. You got family that's going to be around you. And we're going to diffuse these taboo holiday money talks that can be frustrating, can cause arguments, can have people feeling like, oh, they don't even want to come back to a family gathering. Well, my purpose tonight is to give you strategies again on how we're going to diffuse some of that taboo thinking about money and be able to have an enjoyable holiday. And we're going to talk more about that as we go. However, now we're going to start talking about our sponsors. We're going to go on and kind of Oh, sorry. Before we do that, nope. Let me talk about, like I said, I started off, I kind of get sidetracked because I'll be so excited. I want to talk about my current events that I have experienced. And so, yes, I am going to tell you that last week I talked about the holidays and how to spend responsibly on gifts and things like that. And I talked a little about the gifts that I used to give my nieces and nephews. Well, I mentioned about a picture that I had found of with my nephew. And my nephew, his name is Brandon, and he was about, let's say, about 5 or 6 years old when, as on the picture that I'm referencing, and um he's holding up a chart of ABCs, like A through Z, and he's holding it, and in the background of the picture you see a bicycle, you see basketball hoops for children sizes, and he's holding it. And when my sister and I saw this, we laughed so hard because I told her, I said, I guess you took that picture of Brandon so you could appease me, because that probably was a gift that I gave him, some educational gift that he is holding in his hand. It doesn't look like he's so begrudgingly holding it, but it's not his favorite toy for sure. And it makes me laugh because I know how when your uncles and aunties are not around and people send you gifts and you say, oh, let me take a picture to show them that you got their gift or whatever. That's what I felt like looking at this picture, is that Brandon is holding it, but it's not his favorite. And he probably knows that it's from his Auntie Tanya. And he's looking at it like, wow, let me get this picture over with. But that was what I would do. I definitely would give them some educational toy. And I don't want you to think that I'm slamming that, because I still believe in giving children educational toys. But what I have learned is that I also give them things that I know they'll be enjoyable. Like I would love to say that I bought him that bicycle. I would love for him to be able to say, oh, my Auntie Tanya bought me my first basketball goal and things like that. But those probably were not the first things they're going to say about me from that era of being an auntie. But like I always tell you now, my younger nieces and nephews that are with me now, they're actually probably my great nieces and nephews. They get the joy of me actually giving them things that they really would love. And one of Brandon now even has a son we call Look Brandon. And for his birthday in September, I got him the beats for listening to music. I got him those. I got him some like cool t-shirts that he liked. So I'm doing so much better. And I'm trying to think, did I give him an educational toy? I can't remember if it was something. It was probably something in there that could have been used, but I can't really remember. I don't really think I did though. I because he's like 10 or 11, so I didn't get him a book or anything. So maybe I didn't even give him an educational toy. So that's really a lot of growth for me. And so also some more growth for me was last weekend. I shared with you that I went to my nephew Blake's baby shower. And so I purchased for their baby my first piggy bank, and I gave them a roll of quarters, which is like $10, because that's like my new staple, is to give children, newborns, or anybody piggy banks. I absolutely love them. I cannot wait to have Moneyalogist piggy banks designed so I can give them my logo and have everybody, for them to see like, wow, my auntie really loves me. I got a Moneyalogist piggy bank, and I'm excited about that. But I think those are things that we should always consider, that with children these days, you could buy stock for them and have some bonds or something, and not always purchase things that are not going to have longevity. So that's my new thing. Like, you get a piggy bank, and now I'm going to be moving toward stocks or bonds or something where they can cash them in when they're 18, or just, and so when I'm sharing that with them, they'll understand if they do have a future with money, that they'll be able to have something that they'll be able to build from as they get older. So yes, that's a recommendation that I do have for everyone, that when you're stuck during this holiday season trying to think, what should I get these children or whatever, go talk to the bank or go talk to a personal finance advisor and say, hey, what stocks could I buy? What bonds could I do? Do I need some government bonds or something that can get them on track and have it where they'll have access to it at 18 or something like that? So totally, I recommend that. I actually just had that conversation with one of my women investment groups, and one of the ladies there was talking about buying stock for her granddaughter. And I know of different stories where parents have bought stock for their children. And one person in particular, I remember reading a story where Apple, the grandfather had bought Apple for his grandchildren, and the Apple stock, like, whoosh, just blew up. So those kids were set when they got of age to even get their stock. So just definitely consider that. So that has been my current events of my life this week. And there was one more thing I was going to say that happened, but I can't really think of that right now. And if I do, I'll come back to it. So in the meantime, now I am going to do the shout outs for my sponsors. And we're going to start that by doing Joy Media Group. We're going to do Joy Media Group, and we're going to talk about how Joy is my producer for the show. So she has been phenomenal at just helping me put this show together and helping me understand how to be on time to start the show, and just really being a great spirit. So with Joy Media Group, you can reach her at www.joymediagroup.net at 901-678-9501. So that is Joy Media Group. And our second sponsor for tonight is Nick Venti Design, and it's the one-stop shop for mobile apps, animation, and web design. And I have told you he's doing a great job doing my website and my mobile app for my Moneyalogist course. So you can reach him at 662-902-9737. And I also want to share with you that I'm doing programming differently. I'm adding some additional ways that you can get on the air if you want to support your business. We have excellent package deals where if you want to get them sent to you, you can email me at moneyalitycourse@gmail.com, and that's MONEYALITY course is COURSE, and those words are combined at gmail.com. And I'm also starting for December, but we can also start right now, that you will be able to go on, and if you're wanting to do some kind of announcements for a church program, a party, someone's birthday, you want to do birthday shout outs, we're selling ads for those. They are very reasonable, for $5, you can shout out somebody's birthday, say happy birthday to them. I will have you to Cash App me, and my Cash App is $ Miss MS Moneyalogist, and that's MONEYALOGIST. But those are things that are coming forth, and just to be able to know that you'll be on live streaming from the Radio Bumpin' 96.3 FM. That's going to be every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So your shout outs will be done with me every Saturday for that month of whenever their birthdays are, anniversaries, church events, and things like that. And I will be also pushing this through my social media. So if you're not getting it here, you can follow me on all my social media at the Miss Moneyalogist, and that's TheemsMoneyalogist. All of my social media, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, all of those have the same tag. So that is where I am on that. And so now we're going to be getting ready to come on and talk about my topic today. And we're going to be talking about deep diving into Don't Talk Turkey, Diffuse, Taboo, holiday money topics.
You are listening to Moneyality with Tanya Collins, the Miss Moneyalogist.
2, 1, 0.
Okay, so I am back now, and so we're going to start. We're going to look at the first PowerPoint and talk about the taboo talks that we're going to be having. It talks about Don't Talk Turkey, Let's Talk Taboo, holiday money topics. Do you all know that the number one topic for taboo talking topics is not to talk about sex around the holidays? That was rated number one. My information is coming from a TD Ameritrade survey that they did about what is considered taboo topics to discuss around the holidays, and how sex is number one. The article did not say what about sex was taboo to talk about. So, and because that's not my area of expertise, I'm not going to stay on that. But it was interesting to me. And the number two one is what we're going to talk about tonight is money. Money was ranked number 2 as a taboo holiday money topic. And we're going to diffuse those taboo money topics tonight with different strategies and procedures on how you can be able to have conversations with your family, which is really, really important. And I cannot wait to kind of really go deep into that. But as we all know, the bottom 3 are religion, politics, and health. And they rank 3, 4, and 5. And we are not going to talk about them. But I totally can tell you that in my family, I have seen how talking about religion and especially politics can bring a rift in our families. I spoke to my mom about it today, that there is nothing that I want to lose my close and loving relationship with a family member over politics. That's just from my perception. Me personally, I would rather just totally avoid it than to lose some kind of relationship that I cherish over the fact that we don't agree about politics or religion or health. Health for me would be not even taboo. I think that we do not talk about that enough, but definitely mental health. But again, I'm not focused on those. I'm not an expert in that area. I am an expert in money. So we're going to talk about the money aspects of what is considered taboo and how can we change that so we can make our families and friendships stronger about money. So we're going to start with the first ones. There are 4 things we're going to address, and they're on the next slide. We're going to talk about if not now, then when. If we're not going to talk about money now, then when are we going to have these conversations? And then number 2, we're going to address concept conversations, like what concepts can we use to make this conversation go smoother? Like what can we say where it's not feeling like you're attacking someone, especially when you have the age gaps, when you have the younger generation that have different stressors than maybe someone in my generation or my mom. So that's going to be number 2. And number 3 is we're going to talk about the positive future priorities. Like, how are we going to move forward and getting ourselves mentally and financially ready to be great at managing and having better financial decisions? Because remember, moneyality is part of our financial DNA. So how can we birth that financial DNA to it so that it grows into a balanced and very clear-cut, manageable adult life for someone, and not to have all the stressors around finances. And the last one out of the 4 is going to be financial practices for personal property. And that's how we're going to end it tonight. We're going to try to definitely talk about preparing our elders, definitely our parents and aunties and things, to be ready, and how personal property can put a rift in families and things like that. So that's how we're going to get started. So let's go. The first one, we're going to talk about if not now, then when. So if you just think about, when should we be having these conversations? When is it going to be important for us to talk about this? And what warrants the discussion? Like what makes us have these discussions? Because if we want to have these, because we want to hope and help our relatives and friends, especially the young adults, from making mistakes and getting into deals or deals with debts and low saving rates. And we want them to have information about investment opportunities or missed opportunities they think they may have. That normally comes from someone in the older generations that you may feel like, wow, I missed out on investing. I've heard people say, darn, I wish I had bought Amazon back when it was $10 and things like that. But those are not things we can go back to. So we got to deal with the here and now. Like, how are we going to move forward? If not now, then when are we going to do it? So what I have learned and what has made me be more cognizant of how people think and feel about money is that we're going to talk about the young adults first. We're going to talk about that, more young adults deal with personal student loans. Like that is something that's really big, that of course, you see it in the news where our president is trying to eliminate amounts of your student loan debt. And I can toot my horn, and it's not out of anything other than a gratefulness, just being grateful that I completed college at every level and at every degree debt-free. I never had the student loans, not for educational purposes, but I will give you a clue and tell you that what I did do, just as a sidebar, is that to start my first business where I started a tax business called Liberty Tax is that I took out a student loan to start that business. So it wasn't to buy books, it wasn't to pay for my courses, it was to start my business because I couldn't go into a bank and get a personal loan without having to go through a lot of scrutiny. And I was in college working on my PhD. I was taking the coursework for my PhD, and I was thinking like, wow, I have never gotten a student loan before. And then it hit me like an epiphany, like go get that money because the interest rate was going to be low. And I didn't even have to have any assets or anything. It was just like, oh, I'm in school. I need this money. And they asked me how much, and it was in the parameters of what I could get for being in grad school. And they dispersed that check to me. And I did start my business that way. So when I say I never got a student loan, it's for educational purposes. But yes, I did get a student loan for business purposes. And if that's a route you need to take, I'll tell you, go for it. Everybody, if you need it, you go for it. That's the better investment of getting that money than to get it and not go to school, because I had something to show for it. And I actually ran that company for like 2 years. So it was well invested. And it was a really good investment. So that's something to go back on topic, is that personal student loans are ranked as the most taboo topic that people don't want to talk about. And other top taboo includes like child care expenses, living paycheck to paycheck, credit card debt, and lack of emergency funds. Those are some of the big ones that we encounter from the younger generation now that's starting out, as well as some of the older generation. More of the older generation are worried about the lack of money that they don't have in their retirement fund, or they are really concerned about maybe what kind of health care are they going to have. Are there going to be expenses around getting health care issues or live-in, extended living or stuff like that? Those are really important for the older generation. But what I want to say about those is that we are not here to be judgy on those. So at the table, the things that we would want to say how we support them is to just start having conversations about that it's not impolite to ask questions about that, because anyone at your dinner table that has gone to college or have experienced it, that those should be conversations that you freely want to talk about, especially if you got younger teenagers considering going to college. It shouldn't be something that comes across as, oh, I don't want to talk about it, you're in my business, you're being disrespectful. I mean, no, those are topics that we should want to come together, pull together, and even maybe consider how can we work through this together to eliminate some of this student loan debt or your expenses as child care. Because nowadays there's not a lot of grandparents. That my grandparent kept me when I was a little girl, so my mom didn't have that child care expense at that time. But that is not the case. A lot of people moving away, they don't even have parents around. So having these conversations are important, because going home and struggling, it's a lot that can right there cause you to have the health issues, which is the fifth taboo topic to not discuss at a family gathering. But I would recommend that when someone brings these things to your attention, if it's a niece or nephew, sister or brother, sometimes the way we broach the situation is not to be feeling like you are judging them, like having judgy topic, staying clear of feeling like they're judging you. That's from both sides. As the receiver or as the person that wants to share this information, don't feel like somebody is judging you. Hopefully it can be very mature conversations, and confidentiality, if that's the case. And we all know there are people in our family that have more loose lips than others. So I'm not saying maybe you should go tell I ain't loose lips to the problem. No, I'm not saying that, but someone that is responsible, that's in your family, let's have these discussions, because I love family. And if I can guide someone in any way, I want to. I don't want somebody to be suffering and they lose their home and all of a sudden, then we got to have conversations. Let's try to let's do preventive measures for our money, just like we would want to do preventive measures for our health. So that's important. And to create all sorts of to eliminate all sorts of problems for later is why we want to have these conversations now. And now meaning now, not later, because we are in a time where the market is down. Maybe we can have them to understand that you need to put a little more money aside and put more money in the market while these prices are down. And that will help you as the prices go back up. There's always going to be a flip. There's going to be a turnaround. And if we're in a recession and things are feeling like they're looking bad, then this is also a time to reconsider how you are gauging your budget, to maybe eliminate some of the Starbucks trips to the Starbucks or whatever. I'm not having no problems with Starbucks because I actually will drink their coffee, but I'm just saying there are different ways. So I'm going to speed it up because I love sharing these tips, but I got to keep it moving. And the concept conversations. People who are uneasy disclosing money problems might be more receptive if we provide strategies and suggestions that are in general, like they're not directed to them. And so if I go to Thanksgiving and I'm going to be with people for Thanksgiving this year, I probably will talk about like what's going on in America. How are you feeling about Google and stuff like that, and just kind of ease into it. And then you don't have to direct it to anyone. It's not like Google is directed to my cousin, unless my cousin works for Google, but you just start talking in broad terms about different things that's happening and dropping nuggets, especially if it's something you know that is going on that's positive, or things that you can say, hey, I got a tip from so-and-so, but do not make things feel like you are attacking someone. When I say conversations, make the concepts to be broader term concepts where people are not feeling like you are directly targeting them. No one likes that. And it makes it feel like you are subliminally, I guess, giving them advice on different things. So if you are going to talk to them, you may even recommend that, hey, I got this really great financial advisor, guys. They did this for me. And then that's all you got to say. You don't have to say, you need to get them and you need to get them. No, you just tell them what's happening with you. And that will maybe be a conversation starter for them. So, hey, let's try to let's not reinvent the wheel, but let's be very conscious about how we move that wheel. And there's no fast pace. It's just like an even keel. Let's just roll it out, share what you know, and then be open to discuss it more if somebody comes to you. But the finger pointing and all that, we're gonna pass on that. That can really be hurtful to people. Financial advisors are next. So, like following up with your parents and children, your close friends or relatives. If family members can't discuss these issues, frankly, it might be time for them to really think about, hey, I heard my cousin Tanya say, oh, she has a financial advisor. Well, their cousin Tanya, me, Miss Moneyalogist, has 3 personal financial advisors. So, depending on what you want to talk about, I would recommend which one I would say you should go talk to. And I'm also a part of two um, investment clubs. So I constantly surround myself with topics that I want to learn more about. So if money is my thing, that's what I would talk about. And those are the people I try to center myself around the most, because they provide me with information that I can easily share, not only just on this podcast and across the radio, but also in real life and in my course that I'm designing. So it's like I want to take advantage of my resources, and I'm always considered a source. So if you need that, I am considered a source, and I would love to be able to assist where I can. And the next one is positive future priorities. So, with positive future priorities, perhaps the best advice that you could give to others is to help them develop sound practices and habits for managing money, and focus on, like I said, being with small steps, especially with somebody that may not be as familiar with it as you are. And it's also recommended that we have automated finances that may help us. So sometimes if you want to start automating things, some people don't want to pay their bills online, but I just automated my MLG and W bill. I was thinking, I used to be kind of that way. Oh, let me see what that is before I pay it. So I'm not going to have it automated coming out automatically out of my account. But I actually had an arrangement with MLG and W out of Tennessee, out of Memphis, and my bill is consistent. It's the same price every month. So I started that new program because of my expensive electric bill over the summer. So now paying that flat fee makes it easy for me to have it automated out of my account. So today I was like, let me remove an additional stressor where I got to remember to go pay it every month and just let it be automated. So that's how I have relieved stress from my life for that bill, is by automation. And start putting something for positive future priorities is start to, like, when you get bonuses, a lot of y'all are going to get Christmas bonuses. Well, take half of that Christmas bonus and put it away into your emergency fund or into some kind of investment fund or something, or go talk to a financial investor. That's bonus money. That's not part of your original check. So it's not like it's your your weekly salary. So take half of it, just half. But if you're thinking half is too much, take a quarter of it, take a third of it, take some amount of it and put it away. That was money that has been gifted to you for doing a great job, for sure, at your job. But hey, no need to just be a splurger and just go take it and spend it. We are not spenders, remember, we are circulators. So circulate that money, go and let it free flow into an account where you can start seeing some returns. Maybe get a stock that has dividends. And that's something we'll talk about later if you don't know where dividends are right now. But hey, take some amount of that bonus and use it to be building your future priorities and making that be something that you can start seeing a growth in. And then you'll be excited. Like the next bonus, you'll be like, wow, look, I kept this amount and now I get this. Because some people get bonuses on a regular, some people get bonuses once or twice a year, but just whenever, take that bonus money. And it's recommended that we give half. And if you want to be disciplined, give half. I'm going to always support you on half. But if you can't right now, you're just starting off, like I said, give something to your emergency fund or start an investment fund or something. But don't let that be just splurged out and you don't have anything to really remember that something that you don't need or whatever. So, hey, that's just a recommendation. So that is for the positive future priorities is to and one other thing is to start doing legal documents. The basic legal documents where you're setting yourself up with wills and getting your your health care power of attorney, especially if you're older. That's a conversation I've had with my mom. Like, have you gotten your will done? I mean, when you're sitting around Thanksgiving table, you might not want to say, Mom, you got me in your will. No, I'm not saying that. But those are still times when your family is together where you can make, like I said, from number 2 is make a concept make it a broad concept where you just make a generality and say, hey guys, I hear that we got lawyers in our family. So I can say, hey, we hear that cousin Carlos is doing wills and he said he'll do wills for our family at a discount. Have y'all heard that he said that? Or whatever. Maybe it's something that somebody could suggest that, hey, we need to all get these wills, especially when you got generational wealth being passed down, for sure. So that's another suggestion to dispel the taboo topics. Let's have these positive future priorities taken care of. So that's that one. And yeah, I think that's it for that one. And then the last one that we're going to address is financial practices for personal property. And people are going to say that, wow, this girl, she's bold. She is something else with herself. But I am, because I will tell my mom, I have told my aunts, or like my great aunts, things that, not that I'm like expecting them to pass away the next day, but I do share with people things that I like and that I would like if something were to happen to them, would they consider willing that to me? Because if they don't know what I want, then how would I get it? Because if they put it in the will, it's sure for me to get. But if they don't, and I'm trusting that no will, things go into probate, families start fighting, that is one of the biggest issues with families in passings of death with no wills. And these financial practices of personal property have brought so much strife in families' lives, down to jewelry, cars, houses, clothes. I mean, the whole rampant, just the whole idea that anything that's personal, that someone passes away and they leave, they're not there anymore to decide, oh, you get this. And to even be more frank with you, I already have a list of things that I want to give to different people in my family. I know who I want my jewelry to go to, my fine real jewelry, the real diamonds, the real jewels that I have invested money in, my artwork that I have really put a lot of money into. I already have those people's names down of who should get those things. So this is not something I'm telling you because I don't do it. I do these things, so I'm therefore recommending them to you. And I'm just saying, around the holidays, this is a great time for all the family to be together to talk about these things, especially if you're talking about it with your mother or your grandparents. Is to say, hey, grandmother, I always love that ring. And if something were to happen to you before me, I would love to get that ring. I love the way it looks on your finger or whatever. And the problem is, I know y'all gonna say, hey, they're gonna say you being disrespectful, whatever. But that's the point of this podcast tonight, is that we have to break these cycles of what's disrespectful, because what's disrespectful is for somebody to pass away without a will and you are fighting over it. That's a form of disrespect, because then you are having unpleasant conversations, you're getting in your feelings, when we can knock all that out right now and just be proactive and have this worked out where there's no rift. If there's a passing of an elder, that all of these things have been taken care of. We need to relax on all of this old school taboo stuff. Can you tell me where it's written down? Can you show it to me in a book that, oh, these are steadfast rules that we cannot go past? No. If you can, please email me at moneyalitycourse@gmail.com, because I am not joking. If you can show me where these taboo things are part of a reality other than a negativity, and they have been doing great, that has been passed on for generations, and how it has hindered or helped us. No, if you can show it how it has helped us, then I want to see it, because I can give you more ways of how it has hindered us holding on to things that are not tradition and not even making it a pleasant encounter when somebody passes away. So let's just keep it real. It's just things that we need to talk about. And the holidays are when family is really together. And by all means, I think holidays are a great time for laughter, fun. And I think that these conversations can be full of laughter and fun if we pose them correctly and not do the finger pointing, but do the broad concepts of having topics that people can say, hey, that ear open up. Oh, I heard cousin Tanya say that she has three personal financial bankers, or personal financial advisors. That's not something that I'm bragging about. That's reality. That is how I think as a keeper. But because I don't know your moneyality type, I don't really know why that would make you feel some kind of way. But why not feel the way that you want to be comfortable in your life and remove some of the excess stressors? So that is my keys for tonight on diffusing these taboo holiday topics. I mean, we gotta do better, family. We just gotta start trusting that it's okay to have conversations. It's okay to be in people's business when it's your family, because something that we don't want to do is bring on more hurt, more delays, more frustration to our family on things that we can have priority to prevent before they even happen. So tonight has been an exciting night. I have had a great time sharing with you. As I've said, we have new things happening as far as starting in December, or actually starting now. But I do want everybody to know that if you're interested in having shout outs for your birthday, anniversaries, and things like that, you can just email me and I can send you the application to how to get that done, and I can have that on, so I can talk about that on the radio for you, and any announcements, and also how you can just pay the five and have that through Cash App with my $ Miss Moneyalogist account, and that will help you to get started on just celebrating people for their anniversaries, for weddings, or whatever. And I also want people to have an amazing Thanksgiving. I don't even call it Thanksgiving really, but the amazing family day, because it's no better time than having family and friends around and being in the warmth and the love of a great meal, great entertainment, and laughter. My family is the best. I tell you, we laugh together. We have great food, and we're going to have more conversations because of me, right? But it is so important to just be at peace, find peace in being able to let your life and money flow so it can come back to you in that boomerang effect. And be open to hit me on social media and ask me questions if you so desire. And I think that is pretty much me wrapping it up. As always, I enjoy sharing any tidbits of information that I can. And tonight we were diffusing the taboo talks about money around the holidays. Next week, I'm still kind of torn on what my topic would be. I'm still in the holiday spirit, so I'm kind of playing that by ear, but stay tuned for listening to Tanya Collins, the Miss Moneyalogist, on Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. on the Bumpin' 96.3 FM, or following me through YouTube or Instagram or Twitter at the Miss Moneyalogist. Thank you.